The speech, Democratic strategist Harlan Hill and Mark Serrano from Proactive Communications. Good to see you guys. Mark, starting with you, did he sound presidential enough?
He did, absolutely. And I think it will serve to reassure some voters who may have some doubts about Donald Trump. But, Trish, don't get used to it, okay? Because he got this far. He got this far by being Trump, not by being presidential. And look, being presidential didn't help Hillary Clinton get elected president and didn't help Mitt Romney. So what I think he has to do is he's got to continue to be Trump and be presidential if he wants to be President Trump
at the
ultimately.
same time. At the same time.
Yes.
It's an interesting combination. I mean, so, you know, as we heard him talk the other day in Rhode Island about John Kasich and how he eats pancakes, the crowd went wild. And, you know, that's what they like about Trump. So if you mix a little bit of that in with, you know, a couple of speeches on prompter, which this one was, maybe you're onto something. Harlan, your thoughts on his speech?
It was really refreshing. We saw a sober, honest, really disciplined Donald Trump. I know he was reading a teleprompter, but it's important that we see this from a candidate like Donald Trump. I think the American people want a steady hand in the White House, and to show that side of him is extremely important. I think it's also really important that he has, like, managed to move to the left of Hillary Clinton and George W. Bush and to the right of Barack Obama. And what I mean by that is that he really renounced this idea of intervention abroad. He said that we're going to do some nation building at home and that we're not going to all of these distractions in the Middle East. He's not afraid to bring force when we need to, but that should not be our first and only resort. You know,
that's an important point that you make, Harlan, because in some ways the speech, Mark, struck me as isolationist at times. In other words, he's saying we don't need to be over there fighting everyone's battles for them, not getting any help from them, for example. But at the same time, when we do choose to fight, we need to commit, and we need to commit the resources, and we need to commit the kinds of operations that will enable us to win. I mean, one of the criticisms of the last, 16 years has been that we're off there fighting every war, but we're doing so half-heartedly. Can Trump change that?
Well, look, he has said himself that he's a common-sense conservative. And, he has said that we've got to focus on America first. This was really sort of a Trump doctrine in a way, in a broad brushstroke way. And I think it's really important if you take a look at the mood of this electorate, Trish, what are their concerns? Their concerns are economic security first and foremost. And then it's national security, particularly related to our own border. Okay, so he is speaking to those voters. He's also rebuking the neoconservatives to a degree who are willing to wage war at any cost. I appreciate the need to go after ISIS before they come after us in our territory. But look, Trump is also appealing to people and their immediate concerns right now.
Well, you got to take care of things at home before you go off and fight everything else. And Harlan, when you think about the policies that have been in place, they haven't served us well. I mean, we are now a nation that is dealing with some very significant challenges throughout the world. Here at home, our economy is barely growing. Abroad and domestically, we're confronting a real terror threat. So in some ways, I wonder if Trump, by articulating a lot of this in a rather more streamlined speech than what we've heard before, is helping his cause, because he's coming up with ideas. I don't know as we've heard as many ideas from the likes of Cruz.
Right, and I would actually apply that same case to Barack Obama. Look, I voted for him twice. I'm a Democrat. I've done 120 campaigns all over this country.
I didn't vote for him. Good. You're on the right side of history. But, when we look at this, we haven't really even had the President Obama, articulate his vision for taking on ISIS. And you have to remember, ISIS didn't exist when President Obama was elected, when he took the White House. This is a relatively new creation that was created by a power vacuum that we left. And so it's pretty remarkable to see a Republican candidate to the left of the Democratic frontrunner. But it doesn't make him left. But it doesn't make him left. It may be to the left of neocons.
Maybe this is the change in party, gentlemen, that we've been talking about all along. maybe those neoconservatives have more in common with Hillary Clinton.
They do.
That's the point. That's the point. Because the crooks in the Beltway in Washington are the problem, and the American electorate are wise enough to see it and know it, and Trump is the vehicle for their frustration. Now, look, Ted Cruz is as well, but I'm sorry, he's not in the position. Frankly, Ted Cruz may announce today that he's going to pick Carly Fiorina as a VP candidate. I would much rather Ted Cruz be a VP candidate than select one at this point of the game.
Yeah, no, kind of premature on that. We're going to talk about that coming up.
I'm sure.
But well put by both of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Good to have you. Coming up, everyone, Donald Trump now with more popular votes than Mitt Romney got when he was